Hi everyone, Brian here with Practical Prep TX, and today I am making a video on the things I would look for now looking back if I'm buying like a homestead property, some acreage, to do what I'm doing, try to live as much off-grid or seceding from the system as much as possible. And as I'm here driving, I'm actually on my dirt road driveway driving through my property, my 15 acres here. And you can see kind of in the window here how wooded it is, which is going to be one of those things I'll get to. So let's get right to it. So what would I look for, knowing what I know now, in buying a property or homestead for chickens, animals, grazing, whatever, cows, goats, off-grid type stuff that I do. So one is, don't buy right on a main road. So I live way off a main road, about 7 or 8 miles off any type of and it's not even a main road, it's like a 2-lane kind of no signals anywhere around kind of highway. I live about 7 miles off that, off a tiny little paved road that actually was just paved in the last 15 years, and there's no traffic on it roughly at all. So that would be number one. Buy a ways off any type of main road. Now, if you have to buy on a main road, that's all you can do. Hey, it's better than nothing. This is just the ideal, the perfect type of property. Here's what I'm giving you on that. So off a main road, definitely for sure. Not on a main road, way off of a main road, if you can. Two, minimum probably of 2 acres to really do, I think, maybe graze some animals, have enough for a garden, chickens, still have your house on there. That's probably the minimum I would look for. Now, again, you could do this on a 1/4 acre on a small scale, and I would encourage you to do that if that's all you have right now. That's how I started. I lived in a normal little, cul-de-sac home, in 2,000 square foot home, with my neighbor that can see me, across the fence, which I did not like, but that's how I started. Gardening like that, growing our own vegetables, and, storing as much emergency prep stuff as we could. And then we finally bought some acres when we were able to. So number 3, and this is a huge one, buy unrestricted property. What does that mean? Normally that means you're in the county area. You're in a county. You're not within city limits. Because if it's unrestricted, you can just about do anything you want on your property based on what your county rules are. So you want to check the county as well and see, like in my county where I live here in Texas, I talked to them about, hey, what can I do on my property? What can I build? And they said, you can build any structure you want and you can live in it, provided it has a septic system. That's our only requirement. You just can't have, wastewater going into the ground. So they're like, his exact words were, you could build a skyscraper out of beer cans on your property if you wanted to, as long as it was connected to a septic system. We would not care. So that's the kind of property I like. I don't want my neighbor. I had an HOA in my last house I was in. Never again. Those HOAs are ran by all the worst people. The people that shouldn't run those are the ones who do. And the people that should run it don't want to get involved in that. It's almost like government. Like the people who go and run for government offices are the people you don't want in office. All the good people don't want to be in that cesspool. So anyway, unrestricted land, check with the county, check with the realtor, and don't even take the realtor's word for it. I'm a licensed real estate agent as well. So a lot of them don't even know what they're doing, don't even know how to look that up. Check with your county, check with the source directly, make sure that is unrestricted. And even they're going to say, well, we're not sure. Yeah, it looks like it is, but you might want to check with a real estate attorney. So verify that. That would be my number one of my top priorities. Don't buy a property where they're going to tell you can only have 4 chickens and you can't have any cows or pigs. Just don't even go there. Save your money. Or actually, it's cheaper when you move farther away where they don't have those restrictions normally. So unrestricted. Another very important thing, at least for me in buying property, is a good south-facing area on the property that's clear. Why? I want off-grid solar. I want to be my own energy grid, put it that way. I don't want to have to be dependent on the grid for electricity. And for that, you got to have a good south-facing area. So you don't want to be up against, a mountain where that covers, most of your southern view. That just won't work. So south-facing for sure. Next one is, are there animals in the area? Like my property, for instance, out here, there's deer everywhere. So when it comes opening day deer season, which is like November 1st for us, all the way I think through January, we can hunt deer. And I do. I have a little deer blind, it's just a 60-yard shot that I can take deer from, and I can feed my dogs the raw deer meat. Or we actually make great venison chili. My wife is great at that. So, a source of free food. So why not? Take it if it's there. We also have wild hogs. Texas is well known for wild hogs. We have a lot of those as well. So if you can, and you normally need more than 2 acres to be able to shoot. I think in my county here, I think it's 10 acres is the minimum. So you might want to check with your county on that in whatever state you're in, and see, is it okay for you to be able to shoot on your property? Another one, good grazing grass. I, for one, am really sentimental to this because I have a couple cows right now, a mom and a calf that we get milk from the mom, obviously an A2 Jersey cow. And we don't have a lot of grass. You saw when driving on my property that it's mostly trees. And I just started clearing some, but it's going to take a while to grow grass. So I'm having to feed round bales, and they're expensive as heck right now in Texas. So if you can buy a property that already has good grazing grass, awesome. But just know it's going to take some time to clear trees if you have to do that. Another big one is, wherever you're buying, make sure the weather is good enough where you're not snowed in 8 months out of the year, where you can grow a lot of grass. And if you're in more of the southern areas, like I'm in the U.S. here in Texas, I get a ton of sun, so it's great for solar. But I'm also in more of the central Texas area, so we get a decent amount of rain too, so we can grow grazing grass. Now, not a ton. It's not like Alabama, where, gosh, that grass is amazing for cattle grazing. But we do have enough rain out here for that, but I've got plenty of sun to really go completely off-grid solar as well. So, and also another one is a wet weather creek. If you can buy a property with a wet weather creek on it, or a full-time creek that runs year-round, or when I mean wet weather, I mean when it rains a lot, you've got a creek flowing through your property, you could dam that up and have a water source. I wish I had that on my property. I do not. My neighbor has it about 200 feet off of our fence line. So I'm pretty bummed about that. So I can't do that. But if you have the option and you see that it's there, that is a big benefit to be able to dam up that. You can, rent a backhoe for a week and, dig out around it and then dam it up. Of course, you got to check with your county to make sure you can do that. But if you're unrestricted and it's a wet weather creek, most likely you don't even need to ask. You can just do it. No one's going to care. Just make sure you have a good spillover area where it goes back into the natural weather creek so you don't flood your neighbor or something. Also, one that I did not think about when I bought my property, and I'm paying the price for it now, is make sure you've got decent dirt to grow vegetables, garden, fruit trees to plant, because my dirt is about 6 inches of dirt and then limestone or granite. So literally for my fruit trees, I had to get a hammer drill and just hammer it away to be able to get 18 inches down to be able to plant them. And that's still, I wish I could get more than that, but I can't do it. So unless I get dynamite out here, I'm not going to do that. Or a big rock hammer with a, watching the way my septic guy did our septic, I mean, he used this giant rock hammer end on his backhoe and just hammered and took out giant 2-3 foot slabs of rock at a time. It's a little too expensive to plant fruit trees that style. So if you can, check the dirt out first, and you can check your county. Actually, a lot of counties have what type of soil, the soil content, and you can look that up for the area you're looking to buy in. So, but for us now, we've had to literally kind of dig out, break out rock, and then put in soil, or use raised garden beds, which is what we're doing for a lot of it as well. So a lot more work. If you just had regular dirt, you can just plow it up and plant right there. So, all right, moving on. Not too mountainous of an area. It doesn't matter if you have 50 acres if 45 of it is on a super sloped, steep mountainside. So you want relatively flat if you can. Some hills, fine. But you want to be able to plant on those without, being on a 45-degree angle. So you want usable land, not just having land. So that's not that I have to worry about that. Mine's just a gentle slope. But having a sloping property is kind of nice though, because we get some crazy flooding rain and that water rushes right off our property. We don't have to worry about flooding, which is a good thing. A well, buy a property with a well that has a well for water. Now, I'm from California and I didn't have a clue. I mean, what the heck is a well? Isn't that those things they used back in like the 1700s to get water? Don't everybody have like running water lines now, public utility? Well, turns out the property I bought, I got basically schooled in what is a well, because we live in an area far from a municipality where we don't have municipal water. We don't have municipal or internet line. All we have is electricity that came from a utility. But my water well, it's just a giant, hole that goes down 400, I think it says 462 feet. And it's just about a 6-inch wide pipe that goes down 462 feet. And they drop a pump down at the bottom of that, and it pulls the water right out of the ground, and it feeds I've got 3 different 3,000-gallon tanks of water that it basically is like a holding tank for each 3,000 gallons. And then I've got an above ground surface pump that actually pressurizes the system and sends it to the multiple houses that we have on our property. So make sure, I want to be off grid completely. I don't want to be dependent on a utility providing my water. I wanted to be independent of that, and I am. Now, the only thing that matters is I need to have some sort of electricity to run the pump, which that's what my off-grid solar is for. It is strong enough to run 240 volts and pull that water out of the ground. If you don't have a well on the property, at least check with the county to make sure you can drill a well. And drilling a well like mine in Texas, as deep as it is, it's about $30,000. So it is not a small investment to do that. So just be aware that if you are buying land, if it has a well on it, it's going to save you a lot of money. If not, maybe you can negotiate the price down because you're going to have to drill that well. All right, moving on. What do I got on my next here? Internet access. So that was a problem on my property. We do not have a typical landline, high-speed internet connection. We have no internet at all. So I had satellite internet, this is before Starlink, Elon Musk and Starlink, and it is awful. I could work on it, but it's basically like you can do email, look at web browsers, but if you're watching any video at all, you're going to run out of your priority data in like 3 or 4 days. So useless to just use the standard, HughesNet, and there's some other providers out there. But what I did do was I built my property or my house on the backside of the property, which is kind of more on the higher side of the hill. And I've got good signal with a cell provider. So I was able to get a home internet cellular router and be able to use that. And I'm lucky enough, I was grandfathered into the unlimited internet. So I can stream movies, I can do everything, work, make these videos, upload them all on that connection. But check on that because, hopefully Starlink's here. I want Starlink. I've been on the list for Starlink for over a year waiting, and I still don't have it. Now, I have been told, though, which I haven't looked into this, so don't quote me on it. I am told that you can get the RV version really quickly. But I do believe you have to move that thing occasionally to make it look like you're at least using it in your RV. So for those of you who've been on a waiting list, maybe check that option, see if that's true. I don't know. I am surrounded by large acre properties. I love that because I'm only 15 acres. I can't afford 1,000 acres, 200, 300, 400. That's just crazy out here in Texas right now. I think the 100-acre property went for like $4 or $5 million a few months ago near us. So I've got 15 acres, but I'm surrounded by 250 acres behind me, another, I believe, 100 acres to the east of me, and then a bunch of smaller 5, 10, and 20 acres towards the east of me. And then the north, another like 1,000 acres to the north of me. So I've got a lot of acreage around me it's all rural. So we all get along really well, which brings me to my next point is if you can try to be around like-minded people. I am in Central Texas here and we are all very freedom-minded. All of my neighbors are. In fact, the one neighbor that wasn't ended up moving out because he was sick of hearing the gunshots for hunting and all that. So if you can be around like-minded people, obviously that's just a benefit, especially when things get tough. Have people you can barter with, or good neighbors just to rely on. I helped my neighbor just the last ice storm, help her get her generator running. I mean, it's great to have people that can help support each other. So, which is what this is all about, in my opinion, helping others. All right, so those were the things I think that I would look for going forward now if I had to do it all over again, which I hope I never have to, but if I end up having housing tracts built around me here in the next 5-10 years, I'm definitely going to be moving further out and doing this again. But staying in tune with what I do with this video here or with this channel, I want to show you the products that I use to help me be as self-reliant or self-sufficient as possible. And this is one that I recently just bought. Actually about a month and a half ago. I was not an affiliate of theirs to begin with, but I saw their products and I really thought that would be a good fit for me and my family in an emergency. And it's this Jace Medical. Basically, it is an emergency antibiotics kit with a bunch of the common antibiotics you would need for your standard infections that could be dangerous if you can't treat them. And the reason I got that was because, you know, the last couple of years since we've seen COVID, and doctors and the CDC, FDA saying certain medications are dangerous when they've already been proven they've been healthy, and pharmacists not giving them out because they're trying to be politically correct. And I'm not going to say what type of medications those were because of the censorship on the different platforms I could be posting this on. So if you're watching this channel, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But what's going to be the next medication where they say it's illegal to take, or it's unsafe to take, and pharmacists refuse to give it out, or there's a shortage because of the supply chain? So I just thought this is a good addition to my emergency kit. Check it out. I can get you all, I think it's $10 off on it because I did become an affiliate after I got the product. I like the process. And so the discount code is BrianZ10. So BRIAN, the letter Z10, Brian Z10. And I'll put a link in the description here to get to that website. But it's Jace Medical, J-A-S-E Medical. Oh, and a quick tip on that is when you do go through the process, you do have to check the box that says you do have a physician. I believe it says something like you see a physician regularly for checkups. If you don't, they don't want to risk giving you prescription medication. So just wanted to let you know that that box would have to be checked. And one reason I really like it too is they make it super simple. So you get this emergency medication, they give you a book with it that goes into exactly how many to take for what type of infection, and they make it really simple. But even better is they give you access to a physician as well that's included when you buy this, where you can talk to them about your infection and they can give you a recommendation on which one to take, how much of it to take. So check them out, Jace Medical, or check out the link in the description. I've got a bunch of different links too in there that I am an affiliate of products that I'm using that I like, that I think can help you all as well and hopefully get you a discount. Some of them I get you a discount on, some of them they won't let me give you a discount, but if you use my link, it still would help my channel. All right, that's it, everyone. Please like, subscribe to this channel as well. It is brand new. I need the help. I need subscribers. So like it, share it. And if you have any questions, comments, put them in the comments. I do look at those and I answer every one that I possibly can within reason. Some people are just jerks. You know how that is. But anyway, thanks, everyone.